jams. That's good. It's good trumpet. It's good mouth trumpet.
You and Dave Coulier have good air trumpets, man. You and fucking Dave Coulier.
It's my hero, dude. Seriously, come on, cut it out.
That's rarefied air.
Wait. You just said Dave Coulier is your hero?
Oh, when I was a kid. I mean, he would break into Popeye. He would do the whole cut it out. He would fucking crack little jokes here and there. He banged Alanis Morissette, then cheated on her, then created one of the greatest albums in the 1990s. What's not to love about Dave Coulier?
Me and Kelly were talking about this. So I don't know if you guys, we have we don't have cable. We have like Hulu. We have Hulu Live, and we have like a bunch of other streaming services. And like,
you don't have cable? Cut it out.
Holy shit! Hold on, pause 1 second. Where is Dave Coulier in this entire ad program that you just came up with, Wes? We need him. He needs to be a part of DirecTV stream or some shit like that. Cut it out. Boom.
Does that guy do cameos?
I don't think he needs to. He's a well-established stand-up comedian, which is how he got Full House in the first place. So he doesn't need money.
Alan, you go on about your story about Hulu. I'll check out the Dave Coulier cameo front.
Either way, there's a couple channels that popped up on the Hulu, and they're all like, if you've ever watched like music videos on YouTube or anything, there's Vivo. Vivo is a lot of like official music videos, and so there is Vivo channels on Hulu now. Like, remember like Music Choice back in the day? Like, it was just streamed fucking music basically on your cable TV. This is fucking streamed music videos. And a lot of Alanis Morissette's been on the 90s channel recently. And me and my wife had this discussion. We were like, Dave Coulier, he created this. He caused this shit. She was like 20. And she was like, you motherfucker.
And you can even drag that little string out a little bit further, because Taylor Hawkins, who was the drummer for Alanis Morissette, was discovered by Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, because that album fucking rocked, and he heard the drums, and he said, that's the guy. I need him. 25 years later, here we are. He's dead.
Yeah, I was, we watched like, the video that was on that spurred this was like, You Ought to Know, I think. And like, I was listening to the thing, and I was like, this is kind of hip hoppy, like it's rock, right? But like this drum beat that she carries lyrically, like it's legitimately like she's spitting bars, and it's weird. Like I was like, this sounds to my ear at fucking 36 years old totally different than it did when it came, like when I heard it when it came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, interesting. This is a good conversation. Alanis Morissette. Listen.
No Dave Coulier. We got Dave Mustaine, Chef Dave on TikTok. Dave Wanstedt, the former Dolphins coach. Dave Hill. Then it's
hold on, Chef Dave. Is that the guy who like just like deadpan? Like, is he kind of like look like a bald guy, but he's got a cap on, and and he's on TikTok everywhere, and he just deadpans. Oh, there you go. Use that fucking hand again, you dumb shit. Why don't you contaminate everything? Looks disgusting. 2 out of 10. I'd take a bite.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
That guy's awesome.
I know he's fucking phenomenal. I love when he watches that other guy that like makes shit out of chocolate. Yeah. And he's like, fuck this guy. This guy's fun. It's going to be beautiful. He's like a fucking engineer. He's like, 10 out of 10, I'd eat it.
Oh, look, he's making a car. I bet it drives.
Yeah. He made a safe. He made a little safe, and it worked. It had working gears out of chocolate.
And Dave Winfield. That's about the only other. After that, it gets pretty...
Did you just look up Dave's? Is that what you looked up?
Well, so there's no Dave Coulier, and I wanted to be sure, so I just typed in Dave. And by the way, I obviously had to misspell Coulier in order to get the right spelling, copy and pasted it, and threw that into the search bar.
Okay, yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. He's doing all right. He's doing all right beyond that.
Who's supposed to know to spell Coulier?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's ridiculous.
And of course, William Daniels, the teacher from Boy Meets World.
Oh, that guy's great. Mr. Feeney? You
Mr.
talking about
Feeney.
Mr. Feeney?
Yeah. $150.
Huh.
Oh, we can get a Mr. Feeney for $150?
Yeah, that seems like an overcharge, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm on his side.
It both is and isn't. I get yes. I feel you.
You're not getting Mr. Feeney. You're getting a shaky old man who just happens to live in the husk of Mr. Feeney.
He's
Maybe if
very
you're
old and frail now, I think.
at like two reasons. If you find yourself at some odd Boy Meets World convention or something like that, a Boy Meets World fan group, and you're like, "Hey, look, everyone, we got a very special guest," and he comes on the screen, everyone goes bananas. Or if you're a low income, low budget having company, and you're desperate for a keynote speaker, you know.
Man, I don't know. That's beyond desperation. That's why. That's why you're a podunk no money fucking company, is because you're hiring Mr. Feeney to come fucking talk at your fucking retreat.
It's really like you say, William Daniels, everyone. Like, wait, who? Oh, Mr. Feeney. Gotcha. I got it.
How did you deal with whichever Savage kid it was, Fred or Ben?
Ben, that would have been
Was
Ben.
that Ben? How did you deal with him on set? Seemed unruly.
Yeah. Was that him all the time or just him in character?
You know stage kids? I think that's got to be like 75% all the time. I mean, I think on screen's 100%, 75% everywhere else. Think about it. It's two of them too, man. You got Fred and Ben. Those motherfuckers like owned the goddamn 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be living. They made like generational like oil baron wealth by acting like twats on screen for fucking what, a collective of 15 years.
I think like all the shows they made have been remade, right? Like in some
You're
capacity,
correct.
probably. Like I think like it's ridiculous. They were like, it's like Americana, like you know what I mean, like in television form.
Wasn't one of the one of the lesser known, like not Topanga, but someone else on that show's a porn star now?
Oh yeah, the redhead broad that the older brother used to date.
That's right.
Yes, you're right. That's, not that I know much about that. I've heard recently that maybe somebody on that show was, and I guessed.
I don't know that
Wild guess. Look, I'm just saying, if you looked up Blacked, you might find it.
that coming from you is pretty definitive that you know. And you just gave a very precise example, but sure.
Remember, everybody.
It's actually interesting because it came to me that way because I saw it the other day and I was like, is that Boy Meets World, bitch? That's exactly what I said to myself. And yeah, it is, as a matter of fact.
You know it's
Boys Meet World, bitch, which is sexist, but you know it is what it is.
But it's spelled it's spelled MEAT.
Yeah, Boy Meets World.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Maitland Ward.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, just check at that later.
Look at that one. Middle class souls, everyone. Murr, Allen, and Foxman. Hey, listen, a very significant and a very a milestone was reached in the sports world last night. Well, yeah, last night, depending upon
2 nights ago, whenever.
Yeah, 2 nights ago. Yeah, that's right. LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Did it in the third quarter. Needed 36 points. Did it in the third quarter. Merge or win any money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Oh, no, I didn't win the money because all of the stats hit except for the Lakers winning the actual game, which would have been nice. Maybe if they weren't distracted by, I don't know, like a 10-minute fucking jerk myself off celebration with 10 seconds left in the third quarter, maybe the momentum might have carried them through to the end of the game to where they could have actually completed my parlay and given me a few bucks in my account. But instead, we had to go have LeBron cuss on live national television. We had to do the video screen of his entire life from infancy to basketball to now, to Drake pretending he was at a party with a green screen behind him, Snoop Dogg for some reason celebrating the victory for no apparent reason, except for I'm sure there's going to be a hot party after the show. So yeah, I saw it.
So you didn't like the celebration, and you thought it was over the top.
I didn't appreciate in the middle of a sporting event, which the man has played basically based his entire life around. I didn't appreciate the saga of the celebration. I didn't
Okay.
mind the celebration. Hey, boom, there it is, all-time leading score. You know, blow a little whistle, fucking official timeout, keep the TV cameras running. Family comes down to the sideline, give them all a hug, little bro hug to Brony.
Kareem.
Yeah,
Kareem.
have Kareem come down, give like the big like man shake, you know, back slap, like congratulations, and then, you know, throw some chalk in the air, get back on the court, finish up that last 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't mind the game being stopped. You mind that it just went on and on and on and on and on. Okay.
2 minutes, 3
Okay.
minutes.
Fair
Then after the game, finishing fourth quarter, air horn goes off like, everyone stay in your seats in celebration of this monumentous occasion. Let's celebrate the life and career of the all-time NBA leading scorer, LeBron James. Two
Okay.
things. Well, just television ratings.
Yeah.
Fucking people stick around. And you can do whatever the fuck you want now. You can go on for 30 minutes, an hour. I don't give a shit.
Okay. So I do have a couple thoughts on what you just said, but I want to let Alan give his thoughts, or you know, just say this shit sucks. Whoa.
So, you know, look, as Wes alluded to, we've discussed this behind the scenes. I don't care. Don't care. Didn't watch it. I've gone back since and watched, like, I watched everything after our discussions, and I was like, and I agree with you, Mur. Like, I knew Mur, you knew we agreed from the outset of the discussion on the Facebooks.
Yeah, but I think where we disagreed was like your disinterest. I don't care about basketball either. But if there's like a ping ponger out there, I don't know what they're fucking called, and he's about to score his like 1 billionth fucking slam, and he's got to, yeah,
that's what they're called. Actually,
I'm gonna get, I'm gonna tune in for Ching Chang Wong's fucking slap the dong on ping pong just to see it happen.
That's fine.
That's okay.
That's fair. Look, that's fine. But like, I still don't care. Like, yes, like this is, and I am a sports guy. You know this. I would say I'm more of a sports guy than you, Mur. Like, would you disagree? But
I
like,
would now.
like, this is one that I just like, and like, I brought it up. This isn't even his most impressive motherfucking accomplishment. And fucking Wes was like, yeah, he's fucking right about that. Like, I don't care.
Okay, hold on. You said hardly worth mentioning.
Yeah, I don't care.
You did.
Yep.
You did actually.
You not caring and hardly worth mentioning can be mutually exclusive. They can be you not caring and it not worth be mentioning can be two different realms of trains of thought, right?
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, if you like a sport, you're gonna like the stats, and this is arguably the best.
Yeah,
the greatest stat of the game.
You're right, but it's not even his best stat. Like,
Well,
it's hard for me to care.
Winning the championship and the statistic aren't the same.
Aren't they?
No, I don't believe so.
Aren't they measures of success? Both.
They are. There is a Venn diagram that involves both of them, and they're
okay. Do you mind pulling it up for me?
It's a bit of a rough draft that I've been working on.
I'm just curious at this point.
I mean, okay, this statistic was regular season.
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, here's what I was going to ask you guys. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree. I did think it was a bit over the top. They did stop when Kareem passed Wilt in '84, and they had the whole team came out and people started shaking hands. I do agree with you. I don't know if they have the ability to determine, because what was it, like 10 seconds before the third quarter ended?
Yeah.
I think that they should allow the Thunder to inbound the ball and say, folks, stick around. When we come back from the commercial break, we're going to have a celebration between the third and fourth quarter. That would have made more sense, but I just don't know if they have the ability to make that decision before a game. I don't think they go on. Yeah, you have advertising money that you can't fuck around with. You have people who have paid allotted times. So I think they said, as soon as it happens, we're going to stop the game. We're going to carry on with it. I'm just spitballing here. I could be way off. I'm not an executive producer. I don't know. That's just my best guess. Go ahead, Mur.
It was obviously pre-planned because you had the fucking commissioner of the league with a microphone walk onto the center of the court to give a speech. So they knew this was going to be a thing as soon as it happened. They had pre-planned, like, as soon as the ball crosses the threshold of the rim, fucking break out the confetti, pop some Dom Yam, and fucking, like, bring it all to the center. And I mean...
Dom Yam, huh? Wow, never heard of that.
Shut up. It was a slur. I just wanted to keep moving on. Dom Perignon. Anyway, but to me, it was a celebration of hubris. And I think Allen is on to something with this isn't even LeBron's best stat, but to LeBron, this is LeBron's best stat. This is, I am the greatest. I am the best there ever is, there ever was, there ever will be. I'm the Bret the Hitman Hart now.
I think there's a lot of common ground on the opinion of LeBron James between me and Murr. Like, I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's probably, I mean, if we're going to discuss it, he's probably number 2. Like, but like, and almost hands down. I'd even go that far. But like, it doesn't, I don't care. Like, it doesn't impress me. I just don't like, there's a lot about my man I don't like. Like, he's a good guy. Like, not like as a person. I didn't mean it that way. I didn't want it to come off wrong. Like, he's a very charitable guy. He does good things for his community in all the communities in the cities he's played in. But like, when he became a Laker, I was kind of like, man. There's always like, so there's some teams, right? Like the Celtics. Like, I'm not even really a big NBA guy, but I'm just like, man, they're just cities, I think, right? For me, like, from a sports perspective. And like, he became a Laker, and I was like, I think that's the final straw for me, bud. Like, I'm good. I didn't like a whole lot of other things. You're phenomenal. You're a fucking machine, bro. You still got fucking You're going Brady on us. You got 5. You still got like 5 more years left, probably, unless you fucking blow something out. Like, you're a machine. It's gonna be beautiful to watch, but like, you've already tarnished yourself.
Wes, why is it important though? Explain. Just at least okay. To go against what Alan said, like, worth mentioning. Why is it worth mentioning?
Well, I mean, it's like pick a I mean, home run record, which has since been kind of semi-tarnished because of Bonds. But I think I mean, in a game like NBA, we're scoring. Madden you got to score more than the other team to win the game. When scoring is an absolute premium, doing it the most, more than any other player ever played the game, is an important statistic. And I think it trumps things like most rebounds of all time, most assists of all time, most steals of all time, most blocks of all time. And which is even more significant because he passed Magic late last season on the assist record. Now he's like 4th or 5th. I think it's 5th, which is impressive in and of itself. Now, okay, now that I got your guys' attention, I want to ask you something. I was thinking about this today, and again, I admit it was a bit over ridiculous. And if I never have to hear fucking Adam Silver talk ever again outside of like NBA drafts, I'll fucking sleep fucking heavenly. God, that guy's so awkward.
What an awful fucking league commissioner.
Yeah.
And league commissioners generally suck. Like, name me a good one. But
they should be charismatic at least.
His predecessor, or wait, right, would he be Daniel Stern or David Stern? Daniel Stern is the actor. David Stern. Daniel Stern is Marv from Home Alone.
The Wet Bandits.
Yeah.
David Silver is he? He's
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just, he gives me the creeps, man. He's growing into a modern day crypt keeper, but you're gonna have to get a wig on him, like outside and then do just a little bit more makeup. Okay, but you guys, we're talking about over the top, zealous achievement celebrations. Did you guys think when Ripken did the lap in 21:31 that was tacky?
No, it's fucking beautiful.
No, and someone brought that up.
Look at the colors of this hat. Fuck up.
Somebody brought that up because
oh, it was amazing.
I was telling people at work, I was asking them, I was like, did you watch that last night? And they're like, nah, why? I was like, and I told them about the celebration. I was like, it was just over the top. I was like, it was cringy and tacky. And they were like, yeah, what about Ripken's thing? I said, I was like, that stadium was about to cause like a fucking a 5 on the Richter scale because people wouldn't sit down and stop. So it's like he almost had no choice but to almost calm the fucking stadium by running around the outskirts of the outfield. Just and dude, that's one in the modern era of sports. We always say this. Well, that's one that'll never be broken. Dude, the person that's gonna break it isn't born yet. They haven't played their first game of baseball yet. If you go through the stats
Yeah.
of everybody that's playing the game right now. So it was a big deal. There was the strike. They came back. Ripken was a clean cut guy, at least, beyond the Kevin Costner saga. And
Gee, fucking, you won't let that dog shit go.
no, never, 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 never will. Never.
People
No,
outside of Baltimore even
but
fucking understand that.
But it seemed appropriate in the moment. This just seemed like no matter what, we're doing it. That was almost spontaneous the way Ripken handled it. This was, we have the PA system ready to roll. Bring it out.
Yeah.
That's fair. They probably, and like with Ripken, they probably knew that was going to happen. Like obviously they did, right? But like my man fucking like was in the dugout, like he wasn't like out there showing it. Like my
They
man
pushed
like
him out. They pushed it. They literally shoved him out.
like
Boney
LeBron like it was all like such a show. Like nobody even closed him down for that little jumper, right? Like he was just like pop.
No, I think no. I'm not gonna clown on.
Amazing.
I'm not gonna clown on LeBron for that one. He did a full on. He jumped backwards. He pulled his shot. That was his shot. He knew he had it when he pulled it too.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on fire in that third quarter, man. He was fucking up and down the transition. 38-year-old man with some good legs. Good pop, man.
You can tell those toes are hurting him, man.
Yeah.
Ever since I saw that picture of his feet on the beach, like that fucking pinky toe, like touching his big toe, I'm like, damn. When I watch him walk, I'm like, dude, you're hurting me right now. Like, I respect the fact you're moving.
You can't be seeing like athletes' feet. Like
No.
it's god awful. Like we watch soccer quite a bit, and like our team loves to do like a locker room photo after each win, and it's just these soccer dudes like cleats off, and it's like, oh, it's just a mangled mess. You just got clubs down there, whacking at this fucking inflated ball. Like it's just nothing.
You got toenails that are like thicker than fucking like the bottom of Coke bottles in the 60s.
They've all fused together. They're just fucking.
Yeah, y'all have trench feet. You're not even World War I veterans.
Yeah. No, and I heard Joe Rogan's producer Jamie like talking. He's a big basketball fan, and he's talking about like why that is. It's like he's like, you got to realize that this guy has been doing like shuttle runs for the last like 30 years of his life, if not more, just back and forth, stopping on that pinky toe, shoving it to the side, going the other way, planting and jumping. He's like, your big toe and your little toe, they're just along for the ride, dude.
Yeah, they're toast.
Yeah, but anyway, to circle back, I stayed up, I watched it, I was excited to see it. I'm not as big of an NBA guy as I was, in my late teens to early, even mid 20s and things like that. But I still appreciate it, and it was still one of these things like I'm staying up late. I don't care how late it is. I'm gonna have it on. I don't care if it keeps Sarah up. I'm gonna watch it. And good, thankfully, happened in the third quarter. And I waited till the third quarter ended. I went to bed.
Fair. Well, look, I'm prone to hyperbole. Surprise. But it is one of the greatest achievements in sport. Like we will most likely die and not see this break, right? Like to Murr's point, ain't nobody fucking breaking that Ripken shit. That's just not happening. Can this happen? I think yes, but it's going to take a long, long time and some sort of enigmatic athlete like LeBron to come about, and that hasn't come about yet.
Yeah, I think.
But also, again, it's meh. in the pantheon of American sports stuff at the moment.
I think Ripken's record is up there along with like the hits record, most wins, most losses, stolen bases. Ricky
Oh,
Henderson's
stolen
record.
base is fucking
Never. That's never going to get broken.
Never happening. Never, ever,
That
ever,
probably
ever happening.
might be like most caught stealing, because they just don't do it that much. I know this year the bags are bigger now, the bases are larger because they're trying to like get more, and they're fucking limiting the amount of pickoffs you can have per runner on base. So because they're trying to, you can only attempt to pick a person off 3 times at a bag.
That's dumb.
I think that's dumb, but
because
That's incredibly dumb.
Because like if I'm a base, and then again, you might have just like predicted your own future there. Like maybe the stolen base record will be broken if they continue to keep this rule, because if I'm a fast guy and I can take a big lead and I know I can get back to first on pickoffs, I wait for 3 pickoffs, I take off on the 4th.
Nah, I don't. I just don't. I don't. No, I don't see that. I don't see that. Just the sheer attempts, like guys doing. Henderson stole fucking 100 bases like 6 or 7 times. Man, no one stole 100 in almost 40 years. Probably 40 years. I think Vince Coleman was the last one to do it.
Yeah, you're talking like most like nowadays stealing 30 is a fucking like
a deal. Yeah,
that's
so
fucking
that guy get out there.
That motherfucker was stealing 100 bases in a season.
Yeah, 138 once.
Looking at fucking pitchers being like, "You're a bitch. I'm running," and nothing you can do about it.
There's some ridiculous stat. The year he stole 100, I think it's 138 bases in a season. He stole second and third like 19 times in the same in the same sequence.
That's awesome.
I'd be furious. If I was on any position on the opposing team, I'd be furious.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Now, not to put myself on any level of Ricky Henderson, but when I played JV baseball back in Perryville, Maryland here, they had the rule where you could pinch run the pitcher and the catcher, and it didn't matter. It's just that way that they'd be ready for the next inning. And so I was the pinch runner for both the catcher and the pitcher. So basically, I got to run the bases every other inning, like through the entire game. And I remember I was money. I stole second. Probably I went 10 for 10 at the beginning of the season. And then after that, it was just like I was every other time getting picked off. And I just like, what's going on? Are my legs not fast enough? And he's like, dude, they know you're going to steal second base. They're just waiting to throw a fastball outside to fucking pick you off at second. That's what they're doing. That's partially my fault. So just stop stealing second every fucking time. But Ricky Henderson with wheels of steel and gold was just like, fuck you, I'm gone. Do something about it.
Yeah. Also, I think he holds the record for caught stealing most. But hey, man, yeah.
Oh, you gotta risk it. You got.
This is actually a really early on in my and I do want to get back to sports just a little bit. Well, hold on. I'll tell you. You asked about the scoring record. Maybe someone, because of the importance now of the 3-point line, someone like a Luka, who has an inside-out game, a 6'8" guy. A lot has to go right though. The health, the team that you're on. Things like that, and like a guy like LeBron, who I think I read somewhere spends like $1 million a year on his health and well-being and exercise, but he's like, I pay my nutritionist, things like that. Guys like that doing what he's doing at 38, kind of unheard of. This is to close this segment out. I was desperate to find a job that paid well. And I did a day where I shadowed people who went to businesses, asked if they could see a copy of the energy bill, and then they would say, "Hey, we can get you a better deal." You familiar with these types of? Yeah,
I am.
I got to about lunch, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good on this." But the guy said he knew I was a sports guy. He was like, Babe Ruth held the home run record for a long time. I was like, yeah, he sure did. And he's like, you know what else he did a lot of? It's like, what? It's like strike out. It's like, no, Ruth actually didn't strike out that much. He had like a 340 lifetime average, or 342. He's like, no, look, I struck out a whole lot. He was the all-time leader for a long time. And I was like, he's not going to let this go, is he? Okay. Yeah, you're right. He struck out a lot.
Yeah, man.
Babe Ruth struck out a lot.
Was that it? Was his point? Was his point that, hey, you're gonna knock on some doors, they're not gonna answer. You're gonna knock on some doors, they're gonna shut them in your face. You're gonna knock on some doors, they're gonna show you the power bill, they're gonna still say no. But you gotta keep going. You gotta keep knocking. Was that his? Okay, that was.
That's 110% what the pitch was.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, LeBron James. Regardless of our mixed emotions of the celebration, by the way, I was happy about Kareem being there and him, kind of holding the ball and doing the thing. There's a generation of people that are going to miss out on just how cool and down to earth and how great that guy. He gets stuff published in the Washington Post regularly. He's a phenomenal writer. Read some of his stuff. He was more than a basketball player and is more than a basketball player. He's a great thinker, philosopher. He was in a fucking Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah.
Lou
Alcindor, man.
Get along because they were like,
they're
philosophically aligned.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Look, bottom line, sometimes you hate seeing a record broken because you hate to see the guy whose record is being broken, and so I think that was the difference. Like the humility of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sitting in the stands, like patiently waiting for his record to be, which is essentially going to be obliterated by LeBron by the time this is all done. There's the humility of somebody like that juxtaposed against you know the word I'm saying, up against LeBron James. Like, yo, bring the Videotron down. Show my life. and then when he wrapped up his speech on the court live on NBC television.
Fuck, man.
Thanks. Like, how articulate. That's a modern day philosopher right there.
You're right. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Hey, listen, we're extremely excited about something brand new that we're going to bring your way. Now, the middle class holes have a slew of regular reoccurring bits. We have friend or foe, asking for a friend. This week in middle class holes history, Fun Fact Friday, one and done. Before you go, middle class holes badass of the week, and our good bad movie review. And Alan has one that he's going to unveil towards the end of the show, and we're going to review it during our next recording. But tonight is the goddamn brand spanking new segment that we like to call Nostradumbass.
It's time to ask Nostradumbass. We're going to grab some headlines from the news, run them past Nostradumbass, and find out what they mean for me, for you, for our children's future. Nostradumbass, are you prepared?
Yes.
I wish we had a filter.
Sure, I need that wizard hat.
Yeah, we need to get you a wizard's hat.
All right,
okay, maybe a Washington wizard's hat, just to be ironic.
That's what we're doing.
He only has a Lakers hat.
Good call.
He only has a LeBron hat.
So, our first question tonight for Nostradumbass.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese floated a weather balloon over the top of the United States for what I believe was several weeks. We waited till it floated out over the Atlantic and then shot it down with one of our we used the most superior air technology that's ever been developed to blow up a balloon over the Atlantic Ocean.
So, yeah.
What does it mean?
Honestly, what I have seen in the reads is that there's a shortage of pigeon meat. And they were starting to think maybe there's still some buffalo meat around that we could use. And, Wyoming, Montana, they're not really watching it. Everybody thinks it's just open land now. Yellowstone and fucking Kevin Costner just proved to everybody that it's empty. So maybe we could fucking fulfill our shortage of pigeon meat for our General Tso's, our oranges, our Szechuans.
Those are all chickens.
Buffalo meat.
Nostradamus, does this mean that pigeons are in fact not government drones?
That's indeed true. But most hawks and other raptors, birds of prey, they are.
I fucking knew
100%
it.
true.
Goddamn knew it.
Thought so.
Yeah. I'm glad I could bring that insight.
Okay, so good. So the only reason the weather balloon was here was to watch over the plains of Montana, Oklahoma, the Great Plains, and track the migration of what's left of our native buffalo population.
It was a meat scout.
It was a meat scout. Okay, so it was a meat scout mission. So if we pull the data from this drone that was floating above our heads, we're only going to find pinpoint accurate counts of how many buffalo are currently roaming the plains of the United States of America.
Yeah, basically.
Sounds like a law of large numbers thing. Like they couldn't get the entire area, but if you do enough and then multiply that by X amount, you might get an approximate number. Nostradumbass, am I right on that?
Well, like the pigeon to buffalo conversion, uh, for meat is really high.
Oh, it's staggering.
A single, yeah. So a single buffalo, really. I mean, it could really supply like the Chinese food needs for like the state of Oklahoma for about a month. You know what I mean? So you only need a couple buffalo to really keep a couple states going.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I would imagine like
it's valuable information if you can find, let's say, a couple hundred.
Well, I mean,
Should
one
really
buffalo
fuck up.
testicle's got to be equal to like 5 pigeons.
Yeah, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. It's, all the parts of the buffalo create so much affordable Chinese food for Americans, for starving Americans around the country. Inflation is insane.
Hold on, wait. So this isn't even wait.
I don't know if you know that.
So wait, hold on. This isn't even for their own populace. This is to fund.
Oh yeah.
The Chinese markets in America. It's your strip malls, shopping markets, food courts. This is only to feed us Americanized Chinese food.
Yeah, yeah.
So this was an American Chinese balloon?
No, it's a Chinese balloon. But what you're missing here is the funnel of American wealth that goes back to China through your local corner Chinese carryout. Okay, you think about the money you spend there.
No, I am.
Think look, your $10 lunch special with your spring roll, and your can of Coca-Cola, the raw cost on that's about $1.25. And you're paying what, 10, 11, 12, maybe in a high rent district? Maybe getting the jasmine rice, $12. 90% of that is funneled back to the Chinese Republic, and that's why we got to be wary of them.
What goes good with that is if you wash it down with a 16-ounce Arizona ginseng tea.
What you should do is you use a Sapporo so that you're not matching cultures. Really clash. You're It's a statement.
It's like a Ken versus Ryu situation
Asia.
In my mouth.
Yeah. Nostradumbass is nationalistic. He's pretty xenophobic about America.
So okay. So if I'm to break this down correctly, so the Chinese weather balloon was hanging out over the Great Plains of the U.S. to track the migration of the buffalo to replace the pigeon meat, which is currently being used in our General Tso's orange chicken and everything else that's found at our local takeout Chinese food restaurants, which are Chinese government fronts to bleed Americans dry on cheap food to continue to funnel money into the Chinese nationalist economy to then come back and subvert the United States of America through economic force.
Correct. And that's just a high level explanation.
Yeah, you don't want to go too deep with Nostradumbass. I mean, it's just your mind's gonna fucking.
We haven't even, you can dive into the salt content, really hammering the American public's health. Blood pressure medicine feeding into the pharmaceutical companies. It's a fucking mess.
Holy shit. MSG, high blood pressure, pharmaceuticals manufactured where? China. God damn.
Nostradumbass, next time I go into my local Chinese carryout, is there anything I should have?
I know that carryout.
Is there any? Well, how about just I'm thinking
They're good people. They're good people.
I'm just thinking of a general one, not General Tso's, just general, run of the
Okay.
muck. Is there anything I should avoid?
No, indulge yourself.
Oh,
There's
gotcha.
nothing you can do. The sweet nectar of brown sauces and vegetables. It's just you can't avoid it. Look, if you're gonna go in there, it's a treat yourself. You're
Gotcha.
gonna treat yourself. It's like doing a little heroin.
Just a little, not a lot, just a little. Just a pinch.
Moderation.
Nostradumbass, I have a question for you.
Sure.
All right. Shifting focus here a little bit. There's a retirement community in Florida, and it's very distinctly, very uniquely named the Villages. And in the Villages, there is suspicion that people are going there living a swinger lifestyle. Now, hear me out on this. They put, rather than a upside down pineapple, they put loofahs on their car. White means I'm new. Black means I'm into anything. Teal means I'm bisexual. Purple means I like to watch. There are detractors to this that say that the loofahs just help identify what car these senior citizens are driving, because they all have the same cars, more or less. They don't know, et cetera, et cetera. Nostradumbass, what exactly is going on in the Villages?
You ever seen Cocoon?
Wait, have I ever seen what? Cocoon? Oh, boy. Have I?
Kind of like that. But look, tell you what. I have a little place down in the Villages. I'll tell you. I fly a black and a purple loop. Okay? And I'm not ashamed to say it.
So does that mean you'll watch anything?
Look.
You're an experienced watcher, not your dumbass.
Okay? It's just good, God-fearing American adults enjoying each other's company in very, very cookie-cutter row homes in shitty Florida. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. Don't overthink it. It's really our motto.
You just
not
described.
that I'm involved.
You just described Chinese food.
What
by
I
the
hear
way.
is their motto.
You just described Chinese food.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not good.
That's kind of the theme of Nostradumbass, I think, this evening.
Nostradumbass, my mother, who's a widow, if I ever overhear her suggesting that she might be interested in buying a villa or a vista villa in the Villages, should I be concerned?
I'd say no. I'd say send her my way. I'm a licensed realtor, specializing in real estate in the Villages. So it's a big deal. She should live her life. She should live her life.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what it's about down there. Look, I think you guys are really judgmental. Nostradumbass is getting a vibe here. It feels judgy.
It is a little. Well, yeah. You know what though? At some point we do need to be a little judgy. I think it's okay to be a little judgy. I mean, people at the end of their lives, like living in a retirement community. I do feel bad for the grandma who put the purple loofah, or maybe even the black loofah, on her. I don't know, her antenna of her car, so she can find it coming out of the Target late in the afternoon, and is met by some guy with a push broom mustache who's ready to, I don't know, twiddle her delicates a little bit.
Yeah, Nostradumbass, what would you say to someone who's down there who, if in fact, now have you made a decision as to whether or not this is a full-fledged swinger community, or if it is a some sort of color indicator to what car they're driving?
Look, you can think about it how you want. I'm not here to define what people do in the Villages. It's a free-loving community. People are friendly. Okay, sometimes you hang out with your friends and you have a nice barbecue, and then you take your clothes off and you go inside and you touch each other's wives. It's a thing. Okay, look, we're not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. You shouldn't be here to judge. Look, is it a swingers community? Maybe. Is it just a community of nice folk, Americans trying to trying to get along and steam towards the end of life.
Mhm.
A little happiness in their lives and smile on their faces, definitely. And that's what we should be concerned about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Nostradumbass, if if a older gentleman's down there with they have they're colorblind, what would be your recommendation for making sure that you got the right loofahs on your car?
It would really, I would honestly just say maybe that person should not worry so much about the color of loofahs and just open themselves up to the opportunity of any loofah and what that might bring.
Like a Russian roulette loofah.
Yeah, exactly. None of them mean death. Most of them mean pleasure.
Well, I don't know. There is a saying in the loofah community: if it's black, stay back.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what like a white and black would mean. Newbie, and I'm into anything.
Wait, sorry. Could you read down the index of colors again? Do you have that?
They only identify 4, but apparently there are many more. White means I'm a newbie. Black
Okay.
means I'm like whatever the fuck happens. I don't give a shit.
Let's do stuff.
Teal is I'm bisexual. Purple, I just like to watch. But I do want to say the person who said it's a car identifier made a good point. Basically said, trust me, a lot of these people are definitely not swingers. Most of them can't even stand without assistance.
Look, from what I know of the villages,
Well, you're lying down. What does it matter?
there are a lot of old folk down there, but from what I know about old folk, they get horny.
I got the Parkinson's. I'm always swinging. By the way, this sounds like a new old version of the bandana code. You can actually Wikipedia the bandana code. Now, this is an old 1980s like gay code with bandanas where you would position them in your back pocket. The color scheme of the bandana. There's some like depending on how much you're into, you know what I'm saying? Those watching, yeah, there's some rough stuff that happens in the bandana community. Now, I don't know if that's still a thing. I think we're a little more of an open society, and I think people are, a little more willing to ask, what are you into? But back in the day, you could maybe walk the boardwalk at Rehoboth Beach and maybe have yourself a nice black and blue bandana hanging out the back pocket, and that meant follow me to pleasure and sin.
That meant, wait, is it dark blue or light blue?
I'm not sure. I don't know the bandana code off the top of my head, but it is a gnarly code.
Pick one, sir, and Nostradumbass will tell you what it means.
Just knowing the pitfalls of black, I'm probably more of a blue guy.
So you said black and blue, so you
Okay.
get both. Which blue? Which blue? Light or dark?
Oh, well, you know what? If we're all in, we might as well go dark.
So,
Navy and black.
Some S&M anal sex, eh? Is that what you're after, my friend? I see where you're at.
I will never tell.
You're a naughty boy.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Nostradumbass, and I think that went off. Somewhat without a hitch. I don't know. It was like the opposite. What's that? Perfectly. Yeah.
I just need a costume to really drive it home. And
we're gonna help you out.
Background, like maybe a fake crystal ball. All right, I'm gonna prop myself up. Listeners, fuck off. We're gonna do it. Right.
Yeah. We're gonna help you out. Don't worry. We're gonna get you. This is. Yeah. This bit's gonna.
Nostradumbass knows you're mocking him, so fuck off.
He knows you're scrubbing a black loofah all over your filthy skin.
Yeah. I know you like to watch.
That's purple.
That's purple. Nostradumbass is a black and purple kind of guy.
Nostradumbass has a little bit of cataracts.
He's up for watching just about anything.
All right. Mr. Murr, I hope you have a good week of fun facts to pick through. There's 7 of them. You're going to give us, I don't know, 4, 5. Hope they're good. Hope they're good as Nostradumbass can predict.
They're not good. They're amazing facts. Brought to you, of course, by our friends at the Shin Splints Recovery Group. But hold the phone. We have another sponsor for this week's official Mental Floss Amazing Facts. That's right, my friends. There's a brand new science club out there. Flat Earth Science. Yes, it exists. It's a thing. It's a place to discuss the scientific fact that the Earth is officially flat. So make sure you find the Flat Earth Science Group on Facebook. What's the rest of that title? I know it's more than just the Flat Earth Science.
Ooh,
That's a good question.
Advocates for Truth.
Yes, the Flat Earth Science.
Right.
Advocates for Truth, brought to you by our friends at the Shin Splints Recovery Group. 2 scientific communities coming together to make the world a better place. If you've got any pain below the knee and above the ankle, that's where you need the Shin Splints Recovery Group, where you can then discuss how you got your shin splints by running across the flat earth.
Did one entire circle.
If the Earth was curved, shin splints wouldn't even exist. That's what I heard.
I heard that too.
He's still in character.
I heard that too.
Well, because if the Earth had a curve to it, then your ankle and your heel would hit and roll just perfectly enough in alignment with your spine and your knee and your hip, and so then there would be no need to cause that stress on the shin.
Now on this preposterous flat Earth, you run, and your natural physiology fights the Earth because it isn't curved.
Exactly, and you can discuss this fact in more detail at Flat Earth Science. Advocates for Truth. Speaking of truth, speaking of facts, let's get to 5 fun, amazing facts. Did you know the world's tallest living tree is a coast redwood in California named Hyperion? It's just over 380 feet tall. God dang. Think about that. 380. So what? A football field is 300 feet, right?
Yeah.
So with the 2 end zones, it's still taller than it's taller than a football field with end zones is long.
You know what I'm thinking? That's a lot of printer paper. You know, Buffalo makes a lot of General Sal. This makes a lot of printer paper and pencils.
It's fair.
Do you know what most redwood trees were cut down and used for in the 1970s?
Bullets.
I know they were cutting them down at a rapid rate back then, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hot tubs. They were used for hot tubs, mainly used by swingers who are now in their 70s and 80s using loofahs to get other swingers to come to their redwood hot tubs. Yeah. Dirty old bastards.
I got a redwood back at the villa. Oh yeah.
I got a redwood right here.
I'm a purple, but I might change it to teal if you legit got a redwood, I'll fucking change it to teal. I'm bisexual.
You want to get on in here? Nah, I'll watch.
Well, Wes, you mentioned him. So, did you know Babe Ruth, who was born on Monday, February 6th in 1895, used to tuck cold cabbage leaves under his baseball cap to keep cool while playing baseball. According to a 1928 newspaper article, he obtained a head of cabbage, put it in the Yankees' water cooler, and between innings inserted ice-cooled cabbage leaves between his thinking pot and the sun. And the Yankees had to drink water flavored with cabbage to suit the Babe's idea.
1, I didn't know that, and 2, that's fucking ridiculous. That's so preposterous. It's like, people talk about like, oh, I mean, you know, we've come a long way. Look at this, the icon, Babe Ruth. That guy probably could have gotten away with not a murder, but multiple murders in New York City in the 20s. And here he's like, well, you know, when I'm out in right field and got this cotton cotton uniform on. It's making my nipples and my ass all fucking sweaty. After a long night of boozing and smoking cigars and hanging out with some black loofah motherfuckers, I like to put cold cabbages on my head.
Wait, hold on, but it makes sense. I mean, in
This is
19
fucking- what do you, a lettuce wig that's ice cold?
in 1928, okay, a cabbage leaf is it's pretty thick. You get it ice cold. You throw it under your cap for an ending, and then you got like it's actually
You
ingenious.
said a cabbage leaf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's at least somewhat useful.
Now,
But,
if you're wearing like a
it is
Rastafarian wig,
preposterous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you think he said? Like a big bamboo leaf or something?
No, I thought he said like a lettuce leaf, like like a romaine. I'm like, that's just weird. It's all wet. It's all fucking soggy. This is strange. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, a cabbage leaf's got a little more structure to it. You know, holds its shape. Yeah, well, I think that's okay. But like again, I think there is something to be said about a time, right? Like, you know, like old timey cowboys would come in off the range and have a cold sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla. Have you had sarsaparilla? It's fucking dog shit.
I thought it was just like root beer.
No. Well, yeah, I guess kind of, except if it sucked. If root beer was the worst thing you've ever had in your life, that's sarsaparilla. Yeah, which is fair because I'm not a big root beer guy either. So imagine a worse root beer. Terrible.
I didn't know this, but the reason it's called root beer, and I literally just found this out a couple years ago, is that it's literally just it's a soda that's flavored with roots. That's why it's called root beer. Like if you have birch beer, it's birch roots that they've soaked and they've extracted the flavor from.
Ginger
That's
beer?
not as bad tasting of poop. I would take birch poop versus root poop.
Yeah, root. That's just whatever's in the ground. There's like fuck it, steep that shit, make
See,
something
but that's
out
the
of it.
point. There were like old timey people were making refreshments out of dirt roots.
Yeah, and making coffee out of rabbit shit.
Yeah. So it's not too far off to say that Babe Ruth said, "Let me use this cabbage leaf to keep my knocker cool here."
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty tame. Yeah, babe, you were an innovator. You were above your time. Yeah, I did. Is it real quick? Do you know what you ever heard the saying "out in left field"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because Babe Ruth played right field. Anyone who got left field bleacher seats used to say, "I'm out in left field. I'm away from the babe."
Oh, did not know that. Another fun fact for you. Did you know Christopher Guest, who was born on February 5th, 1948, is best known for his comedic masterpieces such as his mockumentaries, Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show. He also happens to hold a hereditary British prestige as the 5th Baron Haydn Guest. Officially, "I'm Lord Haydn Guest," he told The Guardian back in 2016. And yes, that's a novelty. Born into it by accident, obviously. And then your dad dies and you're the next one. So, anyway, so Christopher Guest is officially a baron.
Ooh, the only Baron I know is Baron Munchausen, and that's that's a movie. So I don't really know any other Barons.
Isn't that a syndrome, too, where you make your kids sick just to take care of them? Munchausen syndrome?
It's not like that's like a common like you see it in the movies a lot, but there's like other versions of Munchausen's. But yeah, it is basically like feigning sickness in general. Like you could just be feigning sickness, and I'm pretty sure that's Munchausen.
Okay. You just want sympathy for the sickness.
Yes, yeah, you do it like for the attention and the whatever the perks of being sick, like meeting John Cena and stuff, you know. which fair. I'm with it.
Or stopping a basketball game with 10 seconds left in the third quarter.
That exactly.
I have. What did I say earlier? The Boy Meets World actor.
Yeah, Mr. Feeney.
Daniels, yeah, whatever his name, Michael Daniels. Like this same thing applies. Like I have Munchausen syndrome. Like, wait, what the fuck's that? I don't know. No idea. By the way, if you look up Christopher Guest, have you ever done this with John Hughes, where it's like, director, writer, producer? Christopher Guest has one plus actor because he acted in a lot of these. Man, dude, he did a lot of good work. A lot of
Yeah.
screenwrites, a lot of directing. He only produced one, which is whatever. But whew, this is a star-studded lineup.
Dude, like I love Best in Show. Uh, if you've ever seen A Mighty Wind,
Yep.
it's phenomenal. A
And he
Mighty
was
Wind is terrific.
he wrote, directed, and acted in that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Christ, he starred in A Few Good Men. Didn't know that. But yeah, wrote, directed, and starred in Waiting for Guffman.
Yep.
A Mighty Wind, For Your Consideration. Yeah, no, it's a good.
Oh,
Across the land and across the sea.
I found a good pickup the other day. I was watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and it's Amazon Prime's really cool with Amazon Video. Is like if you just tap the screen, it shows you everybody who's in the scene. It shows you fun facts. Well, I saw this guy. It's right when Indy gets done with the car chase, and he takes the antidote, and he's on his way to get to the plane. And he gets to the airport, and the guy's like, "Oh, Mr. Jones, we've got your plane ready for you. You're not going to like the scenery." And I'm like, that sounds a lot like Dan fucking Aykroyd. That's not Dan Aykroyd. That he wouldn't have been famous enough for an Indiana Jones movie at this time. And then I tapped the screen. It's like
Sure would.
Dan fucking Aykroyd, like 1985, like in fucking Indiana Jones, cameo fucking part. Doesn't even show his face. He's just doing a fucking over the top Dan Aykroyd British accent.
Yeah,
That's kind of awesome.
Ray Vinkman. No, wait, Ray. No, it's Peter Vinkman. He's Ray. Damn it.
Yeah, like all three of those motherfuckers came out in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, Dan Aykroyd wrote the original Ghostbusters.
Mhm.
And then they changed the shit out of it because it wasn't worth putting on film. And he said, "We're going to make it." And they said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, change it all you want." Did you know, despite being thought of as an overnight dud, New Coke actually stuck around for quite a while after its 1985 introduction. Coca-Cola eventually rebranded it as Coke 2 and continued manufacturing it until 2002. In 2019, it made a limited time return as a tie-in to Netflix's Stranger Things.
Coke 2?
Yeah, I don't remember Coke 2 being like anywhere.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell at all.
And I feel like out of the three of us, we're pretty, have a pretty good lock on our formative years, especially when shit like that came around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I can.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not a cola drinker. Like, I don't drink a lot of sodas, but if I do drink sodas, it's like ginger ale or like orange soda.
No, but my family, we were Coca-Cola drinkers, and there was a big time like, what the hell just happened when New Coke came out. And then I remember my dad going on like a buying spree. Like he would go to every grocery store he could and buy as much like on the shelf, like a regular Coca-Cola before it was gone. And then there was like a little bit of a lull. And thankfully there's enough outrage that they came out with the Coke Classic before we ran out all of our stockpile of original Coca-Cola. So we averted that disaster in the Murr family.
Disaster averted. I enjoy, yeah, legitimately too. Like you guys are like, oh god, whew, you sleep easier now,
Dude.
Got my molasses drink. Fucking phenomenal.
Let me tell you, man. I think if everyone on Earth died, me and my mother would keep Diet Coke fucking like streaming out of the factory. Because the other day, I think I was like, "Have you had water? What was the last thing you?" I don't think I've drank anything but Diet Coke for the last 4 days straight. That's a problem.
It's awful.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm aware. I know. Nothing I can do about it. Did you
Can't go
know?
back.
It very much is.
Can't go back. Can't go back.
Can't go back. That's just where I am now. This is how I live. Did you know? Curious George has sometimes gotten a little too curious. In one 1947 book, Curious George takes a job. The mischievous monkey wanders around in a hospital and comes across ether, a common anesthetic at the time. George samples it and nods off before being revived by the man in the yellow hat.
You goddamn junkie. I knew it. No, I fail to remember. Either that was read to me and I didn't know that, what ether was, or that there were drug addicts, or my elementary school teachers were savvy enough to understand that might not be good enough to read to 6, 7, or 8-year-olds. So.
No, I can specifically remember my mom reading me Curious George, and he like sniffs a bottle and fucking falls asleep. So, but I mean, it was fairly innocent if I'm remembering it correctly. But yeah, I mean, it's better than Curious George.
Yeah.
As the old saying goes, curiosity drugs the monkey. Okay?
Yeah. Was it
be more careful.
Did his caretaker come by with like smelling salts or something?
Go to sleep. Grabs his face.
Probably the best thing that could have happened to the man in the yellow hat. Just fucking keep some ether in the back pocket. You know what works now. Jesus, man, I read one to my kid where like Curious George lets all the penguins out at the fucking zoo. He saves like one baby penguin and like all's forgiven. I'm like, that motherfucker just let an endangered species run fucking wild all over this fucking zoo. Endangering people and animals and everything. And now it's okay because you saved one fucking baby penguin. It's bullshit. It teaches kids a bad lesson. You can get away with anything.
There's 67 other penguins just marching through the streets of Nashville. Way to go, Curious George. Save the day. That's a Samaritan. Where's the fucking ether?
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Fucking Curious George. You just razzed me up. Way to go, Murr. Hey, folks, today on Before You Go, this comes out of a little town on the north side. And the only reason I know this is because I dated a girl from there. Miller Place, New York. It's in Long Island. 82-year-old woman was pronounced dead at a nursing home. And then 3 hours later, they shuffle her ass to the Water's Edge Rehab and that was the Water's Edge Rehab and Nursing Center is the place where she was pronounced dead. She was taken to the O.B. Davis Funeral Homes in Miller Place. 3 hours later, it was only found that she was breathing. That's right, folks. 3 hours later, they're about to embalm her, and what am I doing here? Wow, lady, what the fuck? And do you think the person who was like, I just made up the whole embalming thing. Maybe they were just going through the checklist. Let's contact her family. Let's figure out, funeral arrangements, yada, yada. That person who was there next to them, who witnessed this first breath, shit themselves. I guarantee that. That's not speculative. That's fact.
Yeah. No. Or yes, probably. Or it's a more common occurrence in mortuaries than you think, and you just don't know it. I got a person I can ask for that. I'll get back to you. But the bigger thing is like, this is why you don't send your folks off to like nursing places, right? They were like, "Whew, looks pretty dead to me." All right, let's get her on out of here. The wait list is fucking 6 months. We gotta get some bodies in here. Turn them over. We can raise
bodies
the rent.
in, get some bodies out.
We can raise the rent on this shared room with 2 twin beds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
She's had this rent control for about a few years.
Yeah, like, she's been here since 2015. We've got COVID rates going now. We can get double for this fucking bed. Get this brought out of here, and then ship her over to the fucking morgue, and she's alive.
I just, we've spent the last couple of years talking about trust the science. Do we not have like the scientific technology to like determine death versus not death? I'm wearing an Apple Watch right now. Could they have just like maybe double tapped on the little heart icon to be like, oh shit, she's still with us? Why was this person even taken to the morgue in the fucking first place? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, listen, I would like to think the staff at the Waters Edge Rehab and Nursing Center in Port Jefferson have a little know-how as to what you just said, death versus not death. But maybe you got a couple stoners who are like, "Oh man, she fucking dead. Let's get her out of here."
By
Like
the
you
way,
said.
is it just me or does like Water's Edge as a nursing home feel kind of like ominous? Like, because I feel like, hey, oh Lassie, you're on your 15th birthday. Hey, come on, old girl, let's go on down to the Water's Edge, where I'm gonna hold your face underwater for about 30 seconds until we finish this shit off and move on with life without you in it.
So, Alan, you think this happens more often than? I mean, I'm not going to say this is the first time, but you think this is a little more regular than we anticipate or we know of?
Yeah, I would think so. It was like, I don't know, fucking dying humans are fucking weird, man. Like, weird shit happens on the way out the door, if you are unaware. So yeah, I think it probably does. And again, like, you can send your loved one to like Eden's paradise, and it costs like a fucking arm and a leg, and like they get fucking fed filet mignon, and they play parcheesi and shit. Or you can send them to Shady Acres. They get fucking shipped lukewarm to a fucking morgue. and that's the kind of shit that happens, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's funny you haven't brought up whether or not they should go to the villages or the village.
Listen, they got enough on their plates. Now, the morgue at the villages is probably working double time, okay?
It's-
It's
remember-
got its own set of concerns.
You're into anything. That's like living or dead.
It's just a guy in a golf cart sitting outside. Like, every color on his golf cart, every single one.
I was thinking a guy from the morgue just sits
On
outside of a big orgy. Like, all right, yep. This is about the time we'd have a dead one if one's gonna die.
New guy rolls up. And he's like, "Oh, I thought black was for like morgue stuff.
Like,
Get out of here!"
I want to be hung while I'm jerking off, like borderline death. Isn't that how David Carradine died?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Oh, God. Walker, Texas Rain. Wait, hold on. That was
No.
Chuck Norris. Sorry.
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu. Sorry. Yeah, Chuck
And-
Norris just would have lived.
Yeah, yes. Kung Fu, Kill Bill. Also Michael Hutchins of the of NXS. That's how he died.
Yeah.
Was he also? Wasn't he in? Wasn't he in
He was,
Poltergeist?
he was in excess.
That guy, David Carradine was in excess.
We know, but yes.
Well, God bless. They did not put her name in here, and whatever. That's so. God bless Jane Doe for fucking coming out of it right before you got put under. I don't even know. I mean,
Buried alive is fucking terrifying.
well, I mean, you would die long before that. I'm sure you're not going to live through embalming fluid.
Well, yeah, I guess if they
Good
fall,
point.
they'd probably wake up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
back
God
in the
bless.
day,
You don't get embalmed though.
do they? That's the thing. I guess I need to at least get a cocktail napkin and pencil it down. Like, I don't want embalmed. Don't do that shit. I don't want it. I don't want it. Even in death, I just want what I am now. Just put it away. Just lock her in a.
But they got so then like. See, here's the thing. Here's the kicker. I think like you can totally do that, but I'm fairly certain that it has to be done like fast.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
die,
you can't-
they flip you around, like they fucking stuff you in a pizza box and they drop you in a hole and fuck, like to get you going. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you can't linger. Like out of state family can't come
Right.
because you're cooking in a box. Like you can't, yeah. Like the embalming, everyone can come. And everyone can see your meat statue before you go into the ground. If you
If
want
you're
to
gonna
go,
have
if you want to avoid that, you gotta go quick.
If you're gonna have an open casket, you gotta, that's gotta be like same day, like a same day,
Yeah,
the same
basically.
day funeral.
You got like
You
2
still you
days.
still gotta be lukewarm.
You
You
got
got 2
Febreze.
days.
You
Nah,
got 2 days. Look, get some
you're gonna be
Febreze.
you're gonna
Like
get puffy.
2 days, bro.
You're gonna
Yeah,
get
like
puffy as fuck.
2 days. Yeah, you'll start like it happens so fast. We are such meat sacks. It's so gross.
Yeah, you get
It happens so
full
fast.
Look,
and
I
not
got
fucking not bulky.
a
Like,
chest freezer in the basement. Toss me in there until everybody's ready, and then we'll get on with it.
you gotta like crack you out.
I'd be in the fetal position, just like
You're like, all right, lay him out. Just fucking snapping your arms and shit.
I'll just put this back on here.
dude.
Oh fuck!
Wait, look,
I think it almost came off.
dude, Bernie Lomax made it a whole fucking week and fucking like solved the fucking murder mystery. Okay,
You talk about Hollywood suspending belief. Yeah,
he even made it to the sequel.
yeah, that's right. That's right. We're a little light on commenters or comments from social media network. There was one. I'm going to save it because you know what? Fuck it. We're a little light. That's all I'm going to say. So, Alan, tell the kiddos and the kidettes where you can find the middle class holes.
You can check us out on all your favorite fucking social media platforms. You can find us at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. We are the Middle Class Holes on Facebook and TikTok. And for your listening pleasures, you can check us out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And Murr ran away. I think he had to poop. Did he poop
What?
himself?
Yep, he did.
Poop? You
He
have to
actually
poop?
he went to check the temperature of that freezer.
You have to poop?
He was like, "Ooh, freezer feels good. Yep, I'm gonna jump in there right before I die."
Oh, according to this White Claw, the freezer is right where it needs to be.
A weekend at Bernie's this.
Oh, all right, Alan. Hey, next week we're gonna have a middle class holes good bad movie review. Tell
Yes.
the listeners what they're in for.
You're in for what I would consider to be a modern American classic, called The Adventures of Power. It's really a coming of age tale about a young man from the backwoods of Appalachia rising to meet his dreams and touch the stars. I'll leave it at that. I think that's really the best way to.
I have to say, of all the good bad movies that have been suggested for review, this is number one. I'm currently watching the Adventures of Power, and I gotta say, I'm inspired, and I'm creeped out a little bit. It's weird. It's fucking weird, but I'll be goddamned if I wasn't just inspired about half an hour ago when I got to what I would consider like the climax of the movie, when Power is going to do his thing. We'll just say that, and we'll suspend some disbelief here. But yeah, Alan, you have chosen you've cracked open a gemstone on the banks of the river.
I'm glad. I actually have to give my wife some props on this one because we were like sitting around enjoying a recreational activity that we do. And
Does it involve loofahs?
no, it does not. It involves cannabis. So I was like, I'm trying to think of a good bad movie. And we Googled stuff, and she was like, bruh, this. And I was like, yep, that's the one. So we watched it, and I was touched.
Yeah.
And so here we are. So shout out to Boo.
But speaking of all the Christopher Guest movies, this is very much in that vein of
Yeah.
Waiting for Guffman and A Mighty Wind and all that. Just
Actually, is he? I think he might. I thought he was in it for a second.
maybe Michael McKean's in it, and so and Jane Lynch. Look,
It's very much, yeah.
Hey, look, we're doing a blow. We have to review it here
I
soon.
know,
Okay?
I know. I'm just saying, I want people to try to watch it before we review it, so we can review it and they can be in the know.
The Adventures of Powers.
Adventures of Power.
All right. Power.
Adventures
Yeah.
of Power. Yes,
All right.
correct.
Got it. We'll see him next week.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a very touching. I think. Look. Bring your tissues. Bring your candies. Bring your popcorns. Bring your juji fruits. If that's your thing. We're gonna go on a ride.
Christ. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Nostradumbass, for sticking around towards the end of the show.
You're welcome.
Dope. Almost forgot. You're right, Murr. Thank you. I had to spin up another recording real quick. It's going to take up my goddamn more megabytes on my goddamn external hard drive. All right. Super Bowl coming up this week. Super Bowl 57. That even sounds weird for me to fucking say, knowing how many I've now watched in my lifetime.
Right.
It's the number one seed. I think it's the best team versus the best player on a really good team. Give us your Super Bowl predictions. We'll start with you, Alan. We'll start with you, Murr. Okay, go. Dude, this is like a situation like the waiter's like, what would you, or the server rather was like, what would you like to? I'll just go around. I'll be ready when you.
I mean, I'm ready. If you, it doesn't.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Kansas City, and I think it's a lot of it is just the experience. Like the guy, I think Mahomes is a little bit more experienced. Not a little bit more, more experienced than Jalen Hurts. Andy Reid is a more savvy coach than what second year Sirianni, right? Like I just think that's the edge, right? I think I arguably, not even arguably, I think Philadelphia's a better football team on paper. A more well-rounded team, but Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid are just they figure it the fuck out, don't they? And it's fucking fun to watch sometimes. Like it pisses me off because we're an AFC team, right? But fuck, all the roads lead to Kansas City for now. They have, and for now they still do.
Do you have a score?
Oh, this could turn into a fucking shootout, couldn't it? I'm gonna go 38-30.
38-30 Kansas City. Okay.
Weird score.
Oh yeah. Murr. Yeah, point yourself.
Well, I didn't know if you were gonna fucking start talking. I say no. I too think
Murr.
Fuck you. I too think the Chiefs are gonna. I think the Chiefs are gonna win this one, and I just pretty much agree with everything Alan said. I just think they've been there before. They get it. I think Andy Reid, especially on this stage, like how many times did he had some good Eagles teams a couple decades ago, and just never got it done with them. I think having them in the building, like here's what you lost out on. Blah, 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 blah. I think a lot of those emotions well up, especially when you're in a championship situation. Mahomes has been there. Mahomes is crafty. They always suck his balls on look how creative he is. He threw that ball underhanded. And it's just like, it's not that he threw it underhanded. It's just he knows how to get it done. He's got vision. He sees the situation. I think Jalen Hurts, I think that guy's a phenomenal athlete, but there's certain guys who just know how to win. I'm not saying he doesn't know how to win, but I just think Patrick Mahomes just he sees it. How many of his receivers were down last week, and how many of them are still down? He's had 2 more weeks to like get ready for it with guys that he didn't play with all season, and he was still able to make it to the Super Bowl without fucking his starters. So they're gonna get it done. I'm saying 27-24, 3 touchdowns each. Field goal wins it. 27-24 Chiefs.
All right. I'm actually going opposite of you guys. I think that, and you guys are gonna be like, "Well, he can't say anything romantic." I actually think the offensive and defensive lines, which the Eagles have a strong hold on, really are the telltale sign of this game. I think that they control the run game, they control the clock. And I think that Mahomes, while he will get his, and I think while Kelsey will get his, and I think while the fact that Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back will help out with the run game a little bit, I just think that it comes to a situation where the Eagles simply outduel Mahomes and the Chiefs a tick, just enough, which is why I'm saying 27-20 Philadelphia Eagles.
You said 27-20?
That's correct.
Okay, low scoring game.
Okay.
All right.
That's right. I think there's first downs, but not a lot of scoring.
Okay.
Who wins the coin toss?
This will be good.
Do you have your DraftKings thing up?
Is this up? Is this on?
I didn't pick who wins the coin toss, but I did bet on heads. And I did bet, for all you prop players out there, I did bet on purple for the Gatorade. And this is why. Ever since Wesley Fox introduced the addiction of gambling to me, which I fully embraced and I have run with for like the last 3 months now, I started staring at every team who was making their way into the playoffs and what they were drinking on the sidelines. Now, are they drinking Gatorade in the modern era? Probably not. They're drinking something that some scientist has concocted in the locker room. Gatorade has the right, so they get to slap their name on whatever liquid beverage is inside the container. But I've noticed that all the teams have been drinking something purple. So unless they just fuck the whole nation up by just, bringing out an extra tub to dump on Andy Reid at the end of the game, purple. Purple is the bet. It's plus 7,500. It's a huge number to win on, so I would pick that one.
They're drinking purple. All right. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. Purple drink. It's not Courvoisier. It's not Merlot or Cabernet Sauvignon.
Or Dimetap.
Or Dimetap. Or great drink.
Is it drank? DRAN?
That's right. That's where you put the, what do you put in there?
Sugar, water, purple.
No.
Codeine?
The rappers used to put like one of the painkillers in
Codeine.
Yeah, codeine.
Codeine, that's right.
Yeah. This is our...
I might have to get some of that this weekend.
I'll bring your ID to Walmart. You can have all your money.
Sugar, water, purple.
All right, folks. I think you've heard enough. Enjoy yourself.